Hello, everybody. This is Tom Eckert here. You're listening to my podcast, Numerology, a GPS for the Soul. This is your place to learn about the true power of numerology and how to use it to bring out the best in yourself, understand your loved ones better, take wise decisions, and prepare for your future. In other words, how to live your life aligned with your true destiny. Take your time to educate yourself and share these podcasts with your friends and family so they too can enjoy the great benefits of numerology. Enjoy! Hello there and welcome to all my listeners. Today we have a very unique episode. We're going to talk about personality archetypes in numerology using the special method of number combinations. But before I dive in, if you are new here, welcome to my podcast. In this podcast, we discuss in-depth numerology as a path for inner transformation, spiritual growth, self-understanding, and I personally attempt to make numerology grounded, accessible, and applicable for everyday life matters. And all of that in order to help you live a better, a more conscious, a more fine-tuned and balanced life that is also aligned with your soul and your true purpose in this incarnation. Today, at the end of this episode, I have a very generous discount that I will offer to those of you who subscribe to my Substack blog newsletter, where I write about numerology and Dharma and how they come together. Now, stay with me till the end to hear all about it. Now, here are just a few ways you can dive deeper into numerology should you wish to do so. First of all, you can book a numerology reading with me. In a reading, you can ask any question that is burning in your life and get precise answer tailored especially to you. You can read more about the readings I offer and contact me through the link in the episode description to book your reading with me. Now, if you wish to study numerology on a deeper level or possibly even pursue it as a career, check out my two study paths. The first is my self-study numerology courses that give you the rare opportunity to learn numerology online at your own pace, on your laptop, on your mobile device, or your tablet. My library currently includes two self-study courses, but more are coming up. Or if you want to be initiated into the rare depths of numerology, you can sign up to my complete path of certification where you study directly with me, one-on-one, all the way from a total beginner to a numerology expert, and you get certified as a professional numerologist. Again, to read more about both study paths, check out the links in the episode description. In today's unique episode, I want to demonstrate to you yet again how powerful the understanding of number combinations is in the interpretation of people's numerology chart, and your own, of course. We will explore a few number combos and the unique personality archetype that they create when they come together. Each number alone would not suffice to create a complete personality archetype. Yet, when put together, these pairs of number combinations working in unison and synergy form a very clear and palpable personality archetype that we can all see, detect, and feel. It's important to remember that although the archetypes I'm presenting here are true and noticeable, I'm sure that given enough time, study, and practice, you will be able to find more archetypes, possibly even with the same number combinations. There's an infinite quality about the numbers and therefore about numerology. And so that influences the process of discovery as well. So we'll start off with the number combination 3 and 5. When approached as standalone numbers, 3 and 5 are both vivid, fun-loving, and easygoing numbers. But when placed together, something very unique comes out of them. They turn into the archetype of what I call the nature lovers. I sometimes call them nature girls or nature boys. I've met many 3-5 personalities who simply thrive in nature, work with nature, or spend lots of time in nature. This includes working with animals, raising animals, and even connecting to nature as a spiritual source of knowledge and wisdom. Now, being in nature for 3-5s is a highly strengthening experience and a real source of nourishment. They need, the spaciousness that nature provides, the freshness, the newness, aliveness, and lack of demand. There's a kind of freedom and boundlessness in nature that speaks to them. There's a wildness about animals and plants that speaks to them. On the spiritual front, they connect to nature in a very shamanic way at times, listening to the messages of the birds and the trees and of Mother Earth in general. But they may also be pulled to just spend long hours in nature, just like that, in silence perhaps, just sitting by a creek, letting the silent language of nature feed their soul. Just the gushing water, the rustling trees and leaves, the distant sound of an animal. I've come to see over the years that when you have either 3 or 5 alone and not as a combo, the love of nature isn't necessarily as central. It's only it only comes to show the power of number combinations. When 3 and 5 merge into a number combo, especially in the sacred triad, that's when you see this archetype come to life. Next, we have the kind and warm-hearted 2 and 6 number combination. They are the archetype of the caregivers. A person with a strong 2-6 in the sacred triad will almost always gravitate both in personality and career to be in a place where they care for people, both emotionally and physically. It's the most typical combo for the social worker or the therapist. They simply need to give. They are wired to give and support, and in one way or another, be involved in people's lives in order to provide love, nourishment, a listening ear, and healing support. And it's not that they do it out of duty or pressure. They truly thrive on helping others, and it's in their DNA. So they are usually humble and deeply humane. And when caring for you, they will obviously go the extra mile. If they are a therapist, it's not uncommon for them to give extra time for free, to help in between sessions, and be highly involved in the process of their clients. Or if it's caring for the elderly, they will put in extra hours without asking for extra payment. only because they realized how much in need the other person is. So for the 2-6, the caregiver, the heart is a very central element. There's a very big heart, a kind and compassionate heart. These people, when they give, when they are there for you as caregivers in any way or form, they will not just meet you for that, let's say, 1 hour slot that's been booked in the schedule, but they will extend themselves because they're so connected to their humanity that they will simply be there for you. That's their natural inclination. They can't help it. They can't disconnect themselves from their empathy and their deeply emotional and human heart. Next, we are looking into the number combination 7-9 and the archetype of the wise old man or woman, the elder, if you will. That person that has gained a depth of wisdom that is both rare and precious. A wisdom gained through much trial and tribulation, through seeing both the bright and dark sides of life, and finding transcendence and perspective. They often have an uncanny ability to see into people and give them profoundly wise advice. People often seek their advice. Now, as a wise old one, their journey is often long and arduous, and they will need to gain much experience before called by life to give of their well of wisdom. The 7 and 9 alone both hold an aspect of wisdom and seeking of truth. But when merged together, they form a powerful blend and a challenging one as well. They will have to get to know pain, loss, death, and what's beyond. It's a long exploration into the mysteries of life and death and the mystery beyond both. It's about touching those spaces that most people don't dare to touch, that we are afraid to ask the questions that we are afraid to ask. It's a little bit poking beyond the matrix, perhaps not a little bit, but a lot. But as they grow, they develop an oceanic well of wisdom, something very complete and deeply impactful. A wisdom that can really change people's lives. It's a more rare combo, as is the search for wisdom in our world. And that's why only those rare individuals, sorry for that sound, that's why only those rare individuals who seek wisdom and sage advice will recognize the 7 9s and call out for their advice and light. And I'm saying this because for the wise old man archetype, right? For the 7-9 archetype, sometimes it seems like it takes forever until someone recognizes what they have to give. And it's important to understand that this is part of their journey. Their wisdom is rare. It takes time to sort of build up and ripen. We're talking about two numbers that are at the end of the scale of the numbers, and also not many people seek wisdom. But when they ripen, many people might seek their advice. Next in line, we have the archetype of the artist. But before I keep talking any further, if you are enjoying this podcast and you want to keep learning in-depth, high-quality numerology, make sure to click the subscribe or follow button and turn on the notifications bell on the platform you're listening from. And make sure to become part of my numerology community and support this work so I can keep on creating this free content for you. Also, my friends, make sure to follow me on Substack, where I write in-depth content about numerology and Dharma. And remember, listen to the end of the episode to hear the very generous offer I will offer each one of you who subscribes to my Substack. Now, the link to subscribe is in the podcast description. And last but not least, my friends, check out the comment section. Leave comments and be part of a conversation. Let's talk numerology together. Tell me what you think about episodes, and so on. I'll always attempt to answer you. So it's time to talk about the archetype of the artist, represented by the number combination 3-6. When these two numbers come together, it is just amazing to witness how an artist is born. Be it a painter, musician, a chef, a cook, right? Or an interior designer. This combo makes for a naturally talented artist. They need art. They need beauty and aesthetics in their life. It's a language that speaks to their heart. They will often be talented and capable in multiple fields and have the ability to generate beauty and art in whatever they do. Even the way they arrange their furniture, or paint their apartment, paint their apartment is filled with the spirit of art and creativity. Again, I want to point out how each one of these numbers as a standalone, right? If you take, right, like a standalone component, right, 3 or 6 alone would not be enough to form the archetype I am talking about. It's only in the synergy and merging of their energies that this magic happens. There are other combos that are sort of, I would say, typical with artists, but the 3-6 stands out in that it is a sort of ideal artist, producing ideal, complete, and well-rounded beauty in whatever they do. There's a spirit and energy of a deeply balanced and creative artistry in their life, in their music, in their food, their home design, the way they paint, even the way they will arrange like a romantic evening for them and their partner or whatnot. There's an element of beauty that brims with creativity and art that simply oozes out of the 3-6. And that's why I really see them as the archetype of the artist, the sort of the well-rounded artist, the harmonizing, the balanced artist. Next, we are introducing one of the most idealistic combos. I personally call this archetype the fiery idealist, and it is represented by the number combination 1-9. Each one of these numbers, as standalones, have a strong inclination towards leadership, as you already probably know. But when they come together as a blend, as a number combination, it brings to life a highly idealistic personality. Someone who is fiery, someone who's a rebel inside, a fearless rebel who fights for justice, for values and ideals that truly matter to them. They are very outspoken people, to say the least. They're not gonna shut up when something doesn't seem right to them. As a, as a combination that's infused with tremendous leadership power, they often see trends and want to lead people into what they see as the better future or the better possibility, which they often indeed do see. They are able to fight for what they believe is right and true and just, and will most often not give up without a fight. So you can really feel the fire with with the fiery idealist, right? With the 1-9. In fact, they feel a strong urge, almost a rebellious urge, I would say, to scream the truth out loud, to say it in your face. They can barely hold themselves, and because of that, they have somewhat of a confrontational nature in that sense. You see what I'm saying? They can't hold it back. They will have to say it. They will have to say it in your face, even if it's gonna create a fight, because they just have to stand for an ideal. They have to stand for some kind of truth that they see, and sort of they feel almost the need to stand up for it, right? As the leader does. Now, after all, they are not, I didn't call them just the idealist, they are the fiery idealist. Now, when they are in their strength, they can have tremendous power to stand for truth, to lead others into a better place, and to fight for a better world, and to call out on what is off and what is wrong. I'm just going to say, sort of maybe on, maybe off record, that Martin Luther King, when you look at his chart as Martin Luther King, you will see a 10-1 life path number and a 27-9 soul urge number. So it's in his sacred triad. It's not why I'm saying, like, when you look at his name as Martin Luther King, it's because that's actually not his original name. Still, he took on this name. It had some impact. It added some energetic influence into his life, and you see the 1 and the 9. And right, the famous sentence that we all know Martin Luther King for is, "I have a dream." This is a sentence of a fiery idealist. Now, fiery, not in the sense that he went to war, but in the sense that he was on fire. He had a passion, he believed in it, and he went with it all the way. He spoke out the truth, and he revolutionized the life of Black people in the United States. So that's really, I think a great example to sort of feel into the energy of the 1-9. Now, the last archetype for this episode I want to touch on is that of the freedom lover slash traveler. And it is represented by the number combination 5-9. This combination is perhaps the most open combo you can get, the most spacious, the most free and boundless. They like the open spaces, externally and internally. They are mostly very generous and love to share what they have. Just to make a point, like, think about number 4 and then think all that's opposite. That's sort of 5 and 9. Even when it comes to relationships, like a 5-9 in the sacred triad, might find it hard to stick to monogamy. It doesn't mean they can't, but it's not an easy choice at all. They love freedom. They love it when things are not strictly defined, are not carved in stone. They love to break out of their routine, to travel and see the world, and to have many interesting, fascinating, soul opening, and expanding experiences. They might even spend years and years traveling from place to place, perhaps never wanting to really settle anywhere. Sometimes I think about them and I imagine like this sailor that decides to venture the oceans and discover new vistas and lands continuously, right? Living on the ship and exploring the world. They are, they're open to try out new experiences. They are daring and they truly don't like rules and limitations. Remember that comparison I just made to number four, right? Fours need rules, limitations, routines, and so on. That's like the opposite with a 5-9. Let's play it by ear. Let's just see how it goes. Let's just flow with it, right? These are like all natural approaches for the 5-9, for the freedom lover and traveler. They like to wing it. They like to sort of improvise in the moment, to just be spontaneous. So now they also have a great emotional and mental openness to ideas, to people, to cultures, to points of view. They just love openness. And as I said, they're generous. They love to share their space, to give of what they have, to, yeah, sure, you can sleep over, no problem. Stay here for as long as you need to. Hey, I just bought something. Do you want some of it? There's something very, very open and fluid and just loving that freedom. And naturally, they don't like being limited. They don't like when you sort of put them in some kind of like closet, both, physically, like in a limiting space, but also in terms of defining them too strictly. They just there's a smile about them. There's an openness. There's a free heart. So, as you can see in the 6 archetypes that we've covered in this episode, number combinations reveal very deep aspects of who we are. Aspects we would never have access to without exploring numerology on a deeper level. And this is why I keep expounding the importance of number combinations throughout my episodes as one of the key elements and components in numerology. Now, exploring number combinations as archetypes can be a fantastic practice to try to sort of encapsulate the character and the essence of the journey of other people and yourself, of course, in your exploration of numerology charts. Now, naturally, my friends, if you aren't familiar at all with number combinations and you want to sort of go deeper into that and be able to apply what I'm talking about here, then you can learn them thoroughly in my number combinations self-study course. And perhaps this is a good time to talk about the promised offer I mentioned in the beginning of this episode. So I want to offer a very generous discount for my self-study numerology courses for all of you who subscribe to my Substack blog newsletter, where I write inspirational posts about numerology and Dharma combined. As social media, at least in my perspective, is becoming less and less a healthy space for many of us, I'm trying to gently and slowly transition to a better space to share quality knowledge and be able to interact. Because on Substack, you can also send me messages, and it's just fantastic. So, to join my Substack and get your massive discount, simply use the link in the podcast episode description. And once you've joined my Substack list, send me a message on Substack and ask for the discount code. I will then send you a coupon code that will grant you a 30% discount for my online self-study numerology courses. The offer will be valid for 10 days until June 4th, 2025, including. Now, as you know me, giving a 30% discount is very rare. So I would say just snatch this opportunity. And before I wrap this one up, if you've enjoyed this podcast, make sure to click the follow or subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell on the platform you're listening from. Just become part of my numerology community. Support my work so I can keep providing you with free content, my friends. Follow me on Substack. Remember to check out the comment section so we can have conversations about the episodes that I share here. Share your thoughts, ask me questions, I'll answer you. And don't forget to check out my professional numerology readings to get to know yourself through numerology. And of course, if you want to study numerology, then check out my self-study numerology courses and in-depth numerology certification studies if you wish to acquire deeper mastery of numerology. My friends, as always, I really hope this episode inspired you to sort of dive deeper into numerology and see the beauty that this method has to offer. So keep learning, keep growing, and as always, I'll see you in the next episodes. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, and you want to go deeper into numerology, check out my website, tom-eckert.com. You can also book a numerology reading or even study numerology yourself through my courses. I'll see you in the next episode.